moon over Sierra. After the show, the lights go down. Another rocky road.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Bob Getz, producer and host of this week's OmnTV. This week's show is going to be slightly different than what we normally do. Normally we showcase music artists and their material. Well, this week we're actually going to be starting the show by a gentleman that is a visual designer on guitars, and I'm not sure of other products, but right now I think it's basically guitars, by the name of Michael Goff of Painted Axe. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm hoping my teeth stay in place. Now, as describing you as an individual, you are the owner of Painted Axe.
That's correct.
And you are based in Jacksonville, Florida.
Correct.
How long have you been in Jacksonville?
A little bit over 2 years.
And you came from what I believe you said, Indiana?
Yeah, I came from Indianapolis, where I had been probably for about a good 8 years. And that's actually where I ended up starting the business, was in Indianapolis.
Now, your product, basically, you have them showcased at special events, festivals, and musicians of all genres?
That's correct.
Now, what got you into that?
My very first guitar was the result of me actually purchasing a guitar for my son's birthday. He was into probably punk / heavy metal at the time, and decided that a plain red guitar was not illustrative or expressive enough for him. So he came to me and asked me if we could paint a guitar. And so we just kind of sat down and one day at the kitchen table and bounced around ideas. And I convinced him to sort of stay away from, flaming skulls and the typical things of the period. And I talked to him about the concept of the dead man's hand, aces and eights. And so we ended up together on this guitar painting one skeleton hand holding 4 cards, which were 2 aces and 2 eights, and the other hand about to turn over the 5th card. So that was really the beginning.
Well, hopefully in a little bit we'll get into the processing of what you do.
Sure.
You've designed guitars for various events, like we already talked about, for various events and stuff.
Yes.
Other than your son, who was your first clientele?
My first, I guess, paid client was John Lee Hooker Jr. I had, while we were living in Indianapolis, and more people, particularly like locally, either in the neighborhood, friends of my son, people that I met and just stated that I was custom painting guitars, were seeking more information and asking me to do their guitars. So what I did was, in the very beginning, was it takes a good month to custom paint a guitar. And so what I did was look at who was coming to town, Indianapolis, over the next year. And then what I did was, okay, so I need to make contact with these people and then try to sort of coincide a delivery when they were in town performing. And Mr. Hooker is the first one who bit. And so what I ended up doing for him was really complex and something that I've actually never done since. But he, at that point, wanted his father and the friends of his father to be painted onto a guitar, as well as a a geographical reference to Detroit. So I ended up contacting, friends and contacts in Detroit because I'd also lived there previously to try to find out the names of essentially African American music clubs from the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. And so I ended up getting pictures mailed to me by, in this case, it was a real estate management company. And so I ended up with India Ink hand inking a club, and then John, his father, and a whole bunch of other blues artists onto this guitar. And I ended up delivering it to him before the show at Indianapolis.
Other than Mr. Hooker himself, what other notables have you designed guitars for?
I've done guitars for Alice Cooper's guitar player. His name was Kerry Kelly. I've done guitars for Biscuit Miller. It's my focus has been a lot in blues, primarily because I like that music, but also the Hooker connection opened up other doors for me.
Nice. Now, you described a process. Well, you weren't describing any process, but you were talking about the length of time it took to prepare a guitar for a certain performer, Mr. Hooking. That's what we were talking about. Can you take us through the process of what it takes to
Sure.
To put something like this together from start to finish? And
I would say that at least 80% of the time, my clients do not have a preconceived artistic idea. So the concept and sort of the execution then falls on me to come up with the idea. In many cases, it is it's a trial and error process by talking to the client, where they live, what the guitar is going to be used for, and how much of the guitar that they want to be an expression of themselves or a representation of the event, like a tour, a festival, or even a CD release as well. So once the idea is then sort of confirmed, then I sort of do mock-ups. So I usually do two. I present them to the client, and they try to choose between one of the two. Sometimes it's an amalgamation of the two. Sometimes I hit it right on the spot, and away I go. Typically, typically the guitar can be either, well, it can be any guitar, electric, bass, acoustic. I've even done resonators as well. So then it becomes the thought process is, work process is how to best represent the approved design on the guitar surface. Sometimes it can be everything from, as I said, India ink. It can be a decal. It can be hand painted. It's any other combination of I guess artistic mediums are employed. And I really like working with texture. So I give the guitar a little bit of it's not 3D, but at least a 2D effect. So it's not just a flat presentation.
okay. Well, at this time, we'll take about a minute or so and bring in a video of what Michael Goff does, exhibiting some of his wares for you to actually see. So, enjoy.
Greetings. Welcome to Painted Axe. I'm Michael Goff, owner artisan. You have just seen a few samples of my work. I custom paint guitars for special events, festivals, and musicians in every musical genre. I go to great lengths and detail to deliver highly unique, distinctive, and personalized custom painted guitars, capturing the client's character and message.
Okay, we're back. Now, in one of your testimonials, there was a number of testimonials in there. Again, like I said, gotta get the choppers fixed. One particular testimonial stood out from all the rest to me, and it read as such: Painted Axe has been around for some time, and I've seen some great work. It was an honor when Michael Goff showed up at Slippery Noodle. What is Slippery Noodle?
Slippery Noodle is a blues bar in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. And presented my custom painted K bass. I presume that's the guitar, his bass guitar?
Yeah, it's the K is the brand.
Okay. With my name and hat painted on it. So I assume that's the logo that you put on his guitar.
Yeah, it wasn't a logo, but that was the visual concept that went onto his guitar.
I meant to say it that way, but I'm out of my league here, folks, so bear with me. I was so shocked. That night, I felt like a true 2012 Blues Music Award winner. Thanks again, Painted Axe, for adding me as part of your outstanding work. And it's signed by Biscuit Miller. Now, Biscuit Miller is who?
He is a nationally touring musician. He has his own band. It's called Biscuit Miller and the Mix. They are based out of Indianapolis, but as I said, they tour nationally and have played everything from the Slippery Noodle in Indianapolis to Buddy Guy's Club in Chicago.
Nice. Now, one other question at the moment that is, now, I understand what they use guitars for, but the reasoning for the visual design on the guitar would be for what reason?
Some of my clients use it as a musical extension. So every guitar player has a personality and I guess a shtick that they have as a performer, and they extend that characteristic onto their guitar. Others will have what I term as like a branded guitar. It could be a festival or a tour or a CD release, and they usually want something like a logo and some corresponding or accompanying artwork to go onto the guitar, and they use it for a variety of causes and purposes.
Now, we're near the tail end of this interview, but the reasonings for these guitars designs that you do, why do you do it as far, and I guess just why do you do it?
Well, as I said, it began as on a lark to paint my son's guitar, but then it became almost like a diversion for me.
Okay,
by day, I'm an analyst. It's sitting in front of a computer, and by night, I get to become a lot more creative and I guess sort of put my brain to work in a different way that is both challenging and satisfying.
Oh, no, this is probably my mistake. I'm trying to follow up here on when I say why. You do it for various events. I guess my why would be on the events, not something where why you're doing it, but for the events that you do, some events raffle, some events do this, that, and the other thing. That's where I'm trying to go.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So they see the guitar as a unique, one of a kind tool for them. They they can give away beer koozies and keychain rings to the millionth, but having something that is so special, that is linked intrinsically to that specific event, that specific client, holds a lot more value to them, and provides them with a return that they can then use to improve whatever the program, the event that they're doing.
This is just another way of trying to promote what you do, such as what I do, trying to promote what I do for this program. You're doing for yourself, only for the business side of it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So now, should anyone wish to check up on your business, where would one might go?
The website is www.paintedaxe.com. There is also a Twitter account, Painted Axe, and then there is also a Facebook account, Painted Axe, as well.
Now, should anybody also, because of computer illiterate, like at times I am, do you have a phone number that they can contact you?
Yep. The phone number is 904-282-3433.
And would they be getting you directly, or would they be getting anybody else that is part of your business?
It's me, myself, and I.
It's all on you.
Yes.
Well, at this time, I'm glad. Well, first off, let's give a shout out to Danny Cortez, because if it wasn't for Danny, I would not have been put with you and your business per se. She's a promoter that's been having us showcase some of her music artists, and we're doing her a favor by getting Michael Goff on our show because of what he does for the artist. So I want to give a big shout out to Danny, and I want to thank Michael for allowing us into his home for us to have this interview at this time.
Well, thank you very much, Bob.
And from there, we'll see you in a bit. Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the interview we just got done completing. Right now, who I have with me today is a gentleman that we're going to use a stage name, JL. He prefers it that way, which is fine. People want to call me Bobby G. I go for that too.
I figure it's not as hard to spell. Just J and L.
JL. That just rolls off the tongue. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
And you're from where?
I am from Utah. Little town. Well, it's not so little anymore, but it's in the south end of the Salt Lake Valley. A lot of people probably remember us for the Olympics. And our snow. That's probably about it.
Now reading into your bio, I read something that I'll have you explain in a second. But some of us grew up with various styles of radios when it came time to listening to music within our parents' home. You evidently had something a little bit different.
I grew up surrounded by music, literally. My mom had this gigantic, I want to say it was a Harman Kardon or maybe a JBL stereo. Can't remember the exact brand of it. But our living room was pretty big, and there was a speaker in each corner of the room. And these speakers were probably a good 3 feet tall, if I remember correctly. and Mom liked the volume knob, to say the least. So should turn it up.
Well, the follow-up question is how many windows had to be replaced?
I don't remember any windows being replaced, but I'm pretty sure it had a long-term effect on my eardrums.
Mine's ringing constantly now, but that's from working various concerts as a security official in my younger days. With that kind of music that your mom was pumping up in the house, what genres?
She was a definite rocker. It was rock and roll. A lot of Led Zeppelin, Jethro Tull.
Oh, I grew up with that.
Yeah, so it was a pretty eclectic mix, but
Nice.
I didn't really care for it at the time until I got older. Then I started to appreciate it.
I was in reverse. My folks, they liked the honky tonk music. My dad did anyway. My mom preferred the Lawrence Welk scenario. I didn't really care for either at that point in time because one to me was slow, and the other one is, what the heck is bubble music? It just wasn't affecting me like my mom. But my music was your mom's music. I got into Jethro Tull, et cetera, et cetera. But then when Urban Cowboy came around, John Travolta doing his thing, and I started getting into that music because it was an upgrade from the honky tonk.
Right.
And from that point, it became more and more and more. So I got away. I went less and less with the rock music and more into the country music because of the style of the music. Now at my age, guess what I actually like listening to?
I'm gonna guess the honky tonk stuff.
The honky tonk stuff. So I mean, I still like the newer versions as far as the country music is concerned, but I have a problem where country music is sliding over towards the pop side. I'm losing.
Yeah, and I'm definitely guilty of that as well. All those influences are creeping in different ways for me as well. So
now the first song that we'll be showcasing is called "This Town." How'd you come about that?
I actually spent some time in my teenage years in a small town in southeast Utah that's called Green River, and I went down there so my aunt and uncle could put me to work. And so even though I grew up in the city, I did spend some time in the country, I guess, as close as we have to country here. So I really do know what it's like to take care of the horses, to bale the hay, to throw it, stack it. I've done all that stuff. So yeah, that's what they sent me down there for, was to get a little work experience under my belt.
For those that want to follow up with Jay, what he just said, here's This Town. Enjoy.
Track we're back, and as you can tell, it's not a Frank Sinatra sound. So, JL.
Sir.
Now, I'm gonna read something that you quoted in your bio.
Okay.
Now, quote: he started playing music at the age of 10 by banging the drums. Unquote. Why not playing the drums instead of banging the drums? I mean, after a couple of years, as you put it, your mom took them away. That wasn't because
Yes.
of the way you were banging the drums, was it?
They got me the drums. I love music, obviously, but even when I was a kid, I just loved it. Like, I would sit and tap my foot and bang on things, and I was probably a little bit obnoxious. I can't imagine that, but yeah. So for Christmas one year, I got a drum set, and I didn't quite have the patience to take the time to learn how to actually play them. I just knew I wanted to do it, and so when I say I was banging on the drums, I was banging on the drums. But I did learn a little bit, which helped me later. But yeah, the deal was, as long as I did good in school, I got to keep the drums. The drums got taken away, so you can pretty well figure what happened there. At some point, I failed a class and lost the drums.
Well, in our case, my wife and I, we actually bought drums for nephews, but it was to get back at the parents, just so the kids could get up in the morning and just bang the hell out of the drums and get the parents all up and out of sort because of the noise. And they got back at us later on down the road, but we figured we stepped into it first.
All right. Yeah, you stepped into it all right.
Yeah. I mean, what came about was we could have done just as well with just pots and pans, but what the heck.
Yeah.
Now, the next question basically is probably just something for you to add to why you gave up the drums. Is what made you change, or what got you interested in switching to the guitars?
Well, after the drums got taken away, I really didn't do anything for a couple of years. And then I saw a concert on TV one night on a Saturday night. And I didn't know what the guy was playing, but it had 4 really big strings, and he was just beating the tar out of this thing. And he looked like he was having fun, so it kind of struck me as something I might want to try. So I took up the bass guitar. And I didn't know what it was called. I just went to a pawn shop and found one. And then I found out later from my cousin it was called a bass, and it was actually tuned completely different. Didn't make the same sounds as the guitar, but it was fun to play. So I did that for a few years, and then picked up guitar along the way.
So, I mean, did you have, when I say training, a professional training? I mean, did you go to take classes for it?
No, I actually was self-taught on the bass, and I picked it up pretty quickly, I think, and I just listened to the songs and then try to play along with them. And I actually did try to take bass lessons one time, but the only bass guitar teacher I could find around here at the time really wasn't a bass guitar teacher. He was a guitar teacher, and he told me to show him what I knew, and I played some of the best licks I knew, and he's like, I can't show you anything, so you might as well just go. So that's where I ended it. So that was the extent of my guitar lessons.
So you basically play by ear then?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Which sometimes is good, and sometimes my ear is not so good.
Well, I will say that the music that I've heard, the reason why you're being interviewed is because I like the music, and now with the help of, I could say young lady by the name of Sue Walton, because she is younger than I am, and I didn't know who you were until she put me in touch with your music, and then in touch with you, and of course here we are. And of course, while we're on here, again, we got to thank Sue for putting us together.
Definitely. Thank you, Sue. And had it not been for my better half, I wouldn't have met Sue. So
There
it
you
all
go.
goes back to her.
Sue. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sue, and thank you, Michelle.
Now, and Michelle's your wife,
She is my girlfriend.
girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
See, I didn't know. Now you know.
I'll change that. I'll change that someday soon.
And she's not holding her breath, is she? I mean, not right away, but
We'll do it when the time is right. Yeah,
Okay.
we've been together for a few years, and we've definitely settled down and started building a life together. So we're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Michelle, we're keeping our fingers crossed if you're listening.
She will be sooner or later.
Gotta watch up what we say, because Michelle will be listening and watching, and my better half does the same thing. So, the next song is "Think About You." Is that about your better half, or just in general?
It is about her, yes. It was written very much about her.
Okay, all together now. Okay.
Aww.
No, okay. What is the song all about?
It's just about her. Just the way that I think about her. Like the first time I saw her, and we really kind of had that moment of wow. All I could think about was her, and she just invaded my brain. So it's about that.
Well, they can do that. My wife's done that to me for almost 40 years. And if you don't think she doesn't let me know every day. So, for you out there, here's JL performing Think About You. Enjoy.
Here we go. From the day I met you, girl, I've been in a different world. I can't get you off of my mind. You're the one I'm thinking about. Yep, morning, noon, and night. Yep, I'm thinking about you all the time. Ever since the day I met you, girl. My mind's like a spring that's come uncurled. I think about you right next to me. I think about kissing and hugging and squeezing and loving and making them memories. I think about you all night and day. All I do is walk around like a lovesick hound, trying to think of clever things to say. All this brain power I'm devoted to, just thinking about you. I'm no Einstein, but I got a keen mind when it comes to the opposite sex. It's true, don't turn your nose up at my pros, girl. Trust me, you're gonna say yeah, yep. Slide a little closer, country girl. I can guarantee you'll rock my world. I think about you right next to me. I think about kissing and hugging and squeezing and loving and making them memories. I think about you all night and day. All I do is walk around like a love
Okay, well, we're back off of that one. Outstanding song. I hope Michelle enjoyed it, or enjoys it, I should say.
Yeah.
Nothing past tense.
No.
Now I think we're just going to talk a little bit about JL himself. And what got you pulled into country music?
I always liked it. I worked with a couple of guys that listened to the honky tonk style, and that was literally all they would let be played on the radio. And at first, I despised it. But then, I don't know, probably 2 months in with working with these guys, I started to really appreciate the lyrics and the stories they told, and there was just a lot more depth to them. And once you listen to the whole thing, the lyrics, the music, some of them were happy, some of them not so happy, but I just liked the depth of it more than the rock songs. So that's kind of what got me into it. And then I just started fiddling around with writing country songs on the side way back when I was still doing the rock thing. So that's how it happened.
Well, for you out there, if you don't understand, country music is music that tells stories on the most part. It definitely is not your rock and roll. It is definitely not your hard rock. It's a whole genre all by itself. And JL and myself, I can honestly tell you that country music is worldwide, and to us it's outstanding.
Yeah, everybody likes it. It's awesome. I love doing it.
Now, your next song, it's something that you really can't read the book by the cover. It's called Sweet Stuff. I'm going to let JL describe that one.
This is a mashup for me. I wanted to take a few different styles and draw on some totally different influences that have helped steer me where I am and influence my sound. And so I intentionally tried to push the boundary on this one to make it something fun to sing along to, but there's banjo in there, there's fiddle, there's a heavier guitar. It's just a mashup of a few different things, which people will realize when they hear it.
And I will, yes, it is. So here's JL performing Sweet Stuff.
Let's do it, y'all. Girl, you got more junk in your trunk than I do in my truck. The way that you shake it got me all shook up. You drive me 10 kinds of crazy, and I'm thinking that maybe, baby, we could get together now. What do you say? You know I want you, girl. Got to have that love. I just can't get enough. Can't you see I'm having trouble with the sweet stuff? The habit's just too tough to ever give it up. Can't you see I'm having trouble with the sweet stuff? You got me toe up from the floor up. I ain't even done no drinking. The way you rock that body, girl, has got this boy thinking about comparing his and hers. Come on, buckles, boots, and spurs. Let's go, let's get the hell out of this place and go explore them curves. Got to have that love. I just can't get enough. Can't you see I'm having trouble with the sweet stuff? The habit's just too tough to ever give it up. Can't you see I'm having trouble with the sweet
Yeah, sweet stuff. Certainly was. Now, the next to the last part we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about this young man right here that actually has performed on stage with some pretty notable performers of this time period. And I mean, I could brag and I could tell you who some of them are, but I'm not going to. I'm going to let him do all of that. I'm already amazed. So, JL, now, in 2014, the country explosion, what was that something like a Woodstock thing?
Yeah, it's like it's a 4 day. Well, it was a 4 day. Now it's down to 3, I believe. But what it is it's just all day long from noon until 11 o'clock at night. Just different artists, big festival type atmosphere, tons of people. Yeah, just one big name after another. And we're fortunate enough last year to be able to do 2 shows. We did one on Friday night and one again on Sunday night. So a couple of the headliners were, say, Toby Keith was there, Florida Georgia Line was there, Reba, I believe Rascal Flatts, Jana Kramer, Low Cash Cowboys, just all kinds of, I can't even think of all the names that were there. But that was a blast. Yeah, it was a good time.
Wow. I mean, back here in Connecticut, I did security for Reba. Took my wife and we saw Low Cash Cowboys with Jason Aldean. Jason's great. We just didn't care for his performance that night, and it wasn't him. It was whoever was doing his background. It was not gelling together. But Low Cash, boy, they had the audience moving. And so I can understand what you're saying. I've never been on stage with them, so that part I don't have any inclination on how that feels. But you've played, or you've opened for a couple other individuals.
Open for Ty Herndon last May.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Outstanding.
Yeah, love Ty. And then also a guy by the name of Aaron Watson. I don't know how many people are familiar with him, but he's more like the Texas rodeo type country. Amazing show. Like the guy's just awesome.
Almost like the
Great
Bob
energy,
Wills.
fun show.
Is it something like Bob Wills?
A little bit. I'd probably mix him more like Chris Ledoux.
Yes, Chris. That was
Yeah.
the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Okay.
more like Chris Ledoux, but just great energy.
Now, you also, I don't know, awards. I read. Now, I'll need you to describe what these websites are, basically. Indie.com, you got 4th place for Original Song Challenge and 2nd place for Country Song Challenge.
Correct. Yeah, 2 different songs. So the original song challenge was open to everything from pop, rap, rock, country. It was just a wide open category.
Yeah.
And I just took a chance with it and entered Think About You. And that one we ended up taking 4th place, which is not too bad. Indie.com is pretty well-known website for singers, songwriters, actors, etc., all indie artists. And it's run by, headed by a gentleman by the name of John Shanks, I believe is his name, who's produced Keith Urban, Bon Jovi. He's worked with Melissa Etheridge, excuse me, all kinds of different artists. So he's pretty well known, and there's a lot of people that are looking at it. And so it was fun. And then, sorry, go ahead.
You also took 3rd place in something called Texaco Country Showdown.
I did. Michelle got me interested in trying it, and I just did it solo with my acoustic, and I did 4 songs. I was in the the semifinals on a Friday night, did 2 songs, and was invited back for the finals the next night. Did 2 more of my own songs, just me and the acoustic, and ended up in 3rd place. So it's a nationwide contest that's going all over the states. So I was pretty happy with that.
Now, JL has a few more songs in his repertoire that I've actually listened to, but for today's show, he's only got 1 more to go. And the title is fairly close to an Alan Jackson title, but the song is totally different. And it's called The Devil in Me.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm no saint, but I'm going to let him describe what The Devil in Me is all about.
Well, I had read an interview, and I believe it was something that George Jones had said, if I'm remembering correctly, where it was, if you can get people hooked with that first line of your song, then make them want to stay and listen to the rest just to see what happens. So this one, I really just wanted to write something that from the first line you go, okay, what's going on here? And it just tells a story of typical, like a heartbreak type of story, but I wanted to put a little bit different spin on it, more like an inner struggle type of spin to it, and how you handle certain strenuous situations with regard to relationship stuff.
Wouldn't know anything about that. Been married for 40 years. It's always been high. You hear that, sweetheart? High. We've never had any low points. Here's The Devil in Me by JL. Enjoy.
Dear Lord, please forgive me for what I'm about to do. I ain't been myself for years. Oh, the hell that I've been through. I love that woman, heart and soul, but I can't deny the truth. She's made room in her heart. Now she's loving up on someone new. I can't decide if I should take them down, 'cause I'd burn with them too. That's all, that's all, that's all between the devil and me. That's all, that's all, that's all between the devil and me. Aching back, sweaty brow, that's how we get through. But when I leave to make ends meet, I'm wondering what they're up to. My heart and my pride are both in my sides. Which one will I choose? That's all, that's all, me for what I'm about to do.
Welcome back. We're at the end right now. It's been a long day, folks. Forgive me. But right now, we're at the end of this interview. JL, now for whoever's watching our program, if they wish to locate you as far as your music is concerned, where can they go?
You can find me on Facebook, and the page is just JL, just 2 letters. It's real simple. Search me out there. From there, you can find a link to another portal for my music, and you can find me also on Reverb Nation, and you will be able to find me on iTunes. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks I'll have 3 live links there, so have some music for sale on iTunes.
Well, that's going to be on the outstanding side, but one thing I need to say from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank, I definitely want to thank Sue again. Sue Walton, you're the greatest, for getting us in touch. I want to thank JL for allowing us into his home. I believe you said that was your kitchen.
Yep, sitting in my kitchen.
And that's like your second or third laptop we've gone through.
Yeah.
Trying to get this thing all together. It wasn't on my side this time, folks. I know JL's got more music out there, and we hope to get together sometime. I'm going to say early next year, and do another, basically another interview with more of his music, and you'll see why. Any parting words on your behalf?
I just want to thank you very much for having me, and it's been nice chatting with you. And also want to thank Sue Walton for introducing us, and also obviously my better half Michelle for introducing me to Sue. So it's been great talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Well, again, from all of us to all of you, I guess I hope you have a great night, and as I tell everybody, a safe week after each ending. So have a good night.
Thank you. You too, sir. Take
Bye-bye.
care.